Before we get into anything else, I need you to prepare yourself, because what happened in this scene is not just surprising, it's revealing. What we saw between Kody Brown and Robyn Brown wasn't just awkward or uncomfortable. It exposed a pattern that the adult children, the ex-wives, and even longtime fans have been hinting at for years. And once you see what's really happening underneath the surface, you'll understand why this moment could change everything for the Brown family. And trust me, what happens after Kody announces his apology idea is not what anyone expected. Let's get into it. I've watched a lot of shocking moments on Sister Wives, but this one felt different. You can literally feel the air get heavier when Kody finally, after years of denial, anger, and scorched earth breakups, says he wants to apologize to his ex-wives. This is something viewers have begged him to do, something the family needed, something the kids have been waiting for. On paper, this should have been a breakthrough, a step toward healing, a moment of accountability, a rare point where Kody tries to confront the damage he's caused. But instead of encouragement, Robyn's face freezes, her body stiffens, her eyes dart, and you can almost see the panic rising. Rather than support him, she slips straight into discouragement mode. Not screaming, not harsh, just that subtle, disarming kind of resistance that derails progress without ever looking aggressive. And the second you see it, you know, this wasn't the reaction Kody was expecting. But trust me, the reason Robyn reacts like this goes much deeper than this one conversation. And the darker context behind her reaction, we'll get to that right after this. To understand why this apology moment hit so hard, you have to understand the long, complicated history behind it. Over the last few years, several of Kody's adult children have been speaking more openly, especially Mykelti through Patreon, backed by her husband Tony, as well as Gabriel, Savannah, and Maddie. And before his heartbreaking passing, Garrison shared similar feelings. Their message has been painfully consistent. We cannot rebuild a relationship with our father as long as Robyn stays at the center of every decision he makes. They don't pretend Kody is blameless, far from it. They acknowledge his ego, temper, favoritism, and self-centered behavior. But what they describe is something more specific. Whenever Kody attempts to take a step toward healing, whenever he tries to reconnect or take responsibility, whenever he shows even a little vulnerability, Robyn allegedly pulls him backward. Sometimes subtly, sometimes emotionally, sometimes with pressure behind the scenes that never makes it onto camera. Certain people close to the situation claim Robyn has privately delivered ultimatums, the kind that shake a marriage to its core. Phrases like, "If you side with them, I'll leave. If you validate them, I'm done." And if you think about the emotional state Kody was in, losing 3 wives back to back, this type of ultimatum becomes a nuclear-level threat. He couldn't handle losing Robyn too. Not emotionally, not financially, not publicly. So guess who he clung to? And that's the emotional landscape behind this apology conversation. Because this apology threatens the one thing Robyn has always been able to rely on. And we're about to get into why that's such a big deal. Next, here's the part that hits the hardest. Almost nobody in the family trusts Robyn anymore. Not out of jealousy, not because she's the youngest wife, not because she is the favorite, but because of what they describe as long-term manipulation. The issues they cite include twisting conversations, turning conflicts into personal attacks, rebranding herself as the victim, feeding Kody only her version of events, escalating tension while framing herself as helpless, deflecting blame to avoid accountability, and the part the children struggle with most, they accept that their dad is flawed. They accept that he makes his own choices. They're not trying to excuse him, but they also believe that Robyn intensifies his worst instincts: anger, defensiveness, isolation, and distrust. In their eyes, Kody didn't just drift away from them. He was guided away. And for Kody to apologize, truly apologize, he would have to acknowledge that the way he defended Robyn contributed to the destruction of his relationships. That means revisiting things he said, things he yelled, things he blamed others for, things Robyn encouraged, supported, or allowed. An apology would force him to admit that the narrative he lived by wasn't the full truth. And that threatens everything Robyn has built. And trust me, we're not done, because Robyn's past behavior adds even more weight to this moment. Now let's break down something longtime viewers already know. Robyn has a pattern, a predictable, recognizable, unmistakable pattern. Time after time, situation after situation, she positions herself as the victim, the misunderstood wife, the scapegoat, the one attacked for no reason. Let's go through the big examples, because they matter. 1. I'm the Brown family scapegoat. Robyn has claimed that criticism comes her way simply because she's easy to blame. But when you watch the show, most conflicts stem from actions, not from jealousy or group bullying. 2. The COVID rules. She insisted she wasn't responsible for the strict guidelines, yet the rules always aligned with her comfort zone. And anyone who questioned them, suddenly they were attacking her. 3. Issues with the teenage boys. Her long, Now let's break down something longtime viewers already know. Robyn has a pattern, a predictable, recognizable, unmistakable pattern. Time after time, situation after situation, she positions herself as the victim, the misunderstood wife, the scapegoat, the one attacked for no reason. Let's go through the big examples because they matter. 1. I'm the Brown family scapegoat. Robyn has claimed that criticism comes her way simply because she's easy to blame. But when you watch the show, most conflicts stem from actions, not from jealousy or group bullying. 2. The COVID rules. She insisted she wasn't responsible for the strict guidelines. Yet, the rules always aligned with her comfort zone, and anyone who questioned them, suddenly, they were attacking her. 3. Issues with the teenage boys. Her long, exhausting feud with Gabriel and Garrison continues to be one of the most devastating rifts in the family. Even when one of the boys tried to reach out, she still interpreted it as aggression. 4. The personality test incident. Her insistence that Christine took the test for her remains one of the most bewildering claims in the show's history, and she held on to that grudge for years. 5. The wives handed Kody to me. Robyn repeatedly framed herself as the only wife who wanted Kody. The others? She claims they pushed him away. Reality? Much more complex. These aren't isolated moments. They form a pattern, a consistent positioning of herself as the fragile center of every conflict. Apologizing threatens that pattern. Apologizing rewrites her victim narrative. Apologizing acknowledges mutual responsibility, and that is something she has never shown a willingness to do. But you haven't even heard the most gut-wrenching part yet. We need to talk about Garrison Brown with respect and care. Garrison's death shook the entire family and the entire fandom. His struggles were layered, complicated, and deeply personal. No single person or moment is responsible for something so devastating. But what is known is that Garrison had been estranged from his father for a long time. And the root of that estrangement ties directly back to the COVID rules, Robyn's insistence on apologies, Kody's defense of Robyn, and the emotional fallout that followed. Garrison tried reaching out, tried communicating, tried softening the wall between them, but that wall never came down. And then, according to multiple reports, Robyn refused to have a photo of Garrison displayed in the family home, choosing instead to keep it with storage items in the garage.
That detail crushed people, and it reframes everything, absolutely everything about what apology and healing could mean. This isn't petty drama. This is a family dealing with real grief, real distance, and real consequences. And the apology could have been a tiny step toward healing, exactly why what happens next matters even more. Let's look closely at the actual conversation. Kody tells Robyn he wants to set the ex-wives free. He doesn't want them thinking and talking about him. He says he wants to apologize. Is it pure motives? Probably not. There's a lot of self-preservation in his tone. But still, it's a step. And right away, Robyn shuts it down with subtle, dismissive questions. How are you going to do that? Not supportive, skeptical. Then she insists he's being too hard on himself. Not reflective, dismissive. She minimizes the very behavior that hurt Christine, Janelle, Mary, and all the kids for years. The same woman who demanded apologies from teenagers now thinks Kody doesn't owe one? That's a twist nobody expected. But her confessional afterward makes everything even clearer. Robyn admits she was shocked by Kody's plan. She claims she tried to stay neutral while processing. But then she says the line that breaks the facade. He says a lot of things that may not even happen. That's not just commentary. That's a subtle undermining of Kody's intention. It accomplishes several things at once. It casts doubt on whether the apology is real. It discredits Kody if he does apologize. It protects Robyn if he doesn't. It positions her as the level-headed one. And it justifies her discouragement. It's a quiet, strategic move, and fans picked up on it immediately. And if you think that's revealing, wait until you understand what she risks if he apologizes. If Kody apologizes, he must admit he handled things badly, including the way he defended Robyn. That means the fights he started were inappropriate. His treatment of the children was unfair. His prioritizing of Robyn was excessive. He believed things that weren't entirely true, and he fueled conflict instead of resolving it. That doesn't just make him accountable. It makes Robyn accountable. And accountability is the one thing Robyn has consistently avoided on the show.
If Kody reconnects with his children, he begins to see the bigger picture. That is the real threat, because influence built on isolation collapses the moment connection returns. And that brings us to the deeper pattern, the one going all the way back to Robyn's arrival. Robyn's entrance into the family marked a turning point, and not a subtle one. From the beginning, she and Kody developed a closeness that the other wives never experienced. She offered emotional validation he craved. She provided admiration he didn't receive elsewhere. But as their bond strengthened, cracks formed everywhere else. We saw rising tension between Robyn and the kids, infections of jealousy and resentment, widening gaps between the sister wives, the COVID fallout, increasing favoritism, escalating anger toward the ex-wives, Kody's complete emotional withdrawal from the family. And in each conflict, Robyn emerged claiming innocence. Not once did she say, "I played a part. I contributed to this tension. I might have misunderstood. I could have handled it differently." Now, suddenly, Kody wants to apologize, a move that forces reflection on the past. And that's exactly why this moment hits the way it does. But the question now is, where does the family go from here? The children have made their boundaries crystal clear. We cannot have a relationship with Dad until these dynamics change. They're not asking Kody to leave Robyn. They're not demanding allegiance. They're not rejecting him forever. They're simply saying, we need a healthy, stable, consistent version of our father, and until he stops being controlled by someone else's narrative, we can't do this. It's mature. It's calm. It's honest. But Kody remains emotionally entangled in a dynamic where accountability equals betrayal. And as long as that dynamic holds, the divide in this family may never close. But there's something even sadder to acknowledge next. When you strip away the drama, the editing, and the fan theories, this story is genuinely heartbreaking. Because the people hurt the most weren't the ones fighting. They were the children in the middle, the siblings trying to make sense of their father's shifting loyalty, the mothers trying to hold their families together, and yes, even Kody, who's trapped in a cycle he helped create but doesn't know how to escape. Most tragic of all, Garrison never had the chance to reconcile with his father, and that loss now hangs over every conversation, every confession, every attempt at healing. This family didn't just fracture, it shattered. And the apology could be a step toward gluing even a tiny piece of it back together, if it ever actually happens. At the end of the day, the Brown family story teaches us several things. Manipulation often disguises itself as victimhood. Healthy relationships don't isolate you from the people you love. Real apologies come from remorse, not reputation protection. Boundaries are necessary when someone refuses accountability. And once someone shows you who they are repeatedly, believe them. Kody's desire to apologize could be a step forward, but Robyn's resistance shows just how far the family still has to go. So now that you've seen the full picture, tell me, do you think Robyn truly wants healing? Do you believe Kody will ever actually apologize? And should his children trust him again if he does? Let's talk about it in the comments, because this moment might be the turning point the entire fandom has been waiting for.